Picture this. You're in your kitchen. You pick up a knife. You start slicing. Within seconds, your eyes are burning. Tears are streaming down your face. And you haven't even started crying. Not really. Your body thinks it's under chemical attack. And in a very real sense, it is. That onion just released a compound almost identical in effect to actual tear gas. And your eyes have no idea the difference. Stick around, because the actual mechanism behind this is stranger than almost anyone expects. And there's a twist at the end that most people never learn. Let's start with what's actually happening inside that onion. An onion spends its entire life underground, quietly pulling sulfur out of the soil. It stores that sulfur inside specific amino acids, locked safely away in separate compartments, harmless, inactive, waiting. As long as the onion stays whole, none of it matters. But the moment you cut into it, everything changes. Your knife ruptures thousands of tiny cells at once. And inside those cells are two things that were never supposed to meet: an enzyme and the sulfur compounds it was built specifically to react with. For the onion's entire life, these two things sat in separate compartments, kept carefully apart, like two chemicals in a sealed lab, never touching. The instant they touch, a chain reaction begins, and it happens almost instantly. The enzyme converts those sulfur compounds into something called sulfenic acid. Sulfenic acid does not stay sulfenic acid for long. It's unstable, restless. It immediately rearranges itself into a new compound. Scientists call it syn-propanethyl S-oxide. That's the actual tear gas of your kitchen. It's lighter than air, so it doesn't stay on the cutting board. It rises, straight up, directly toward your face. Quick question before we go further. What do you think is actually happening when that gas reaches your eye? Most people assume it's just simple irritation. A vapor stinging the surface, nothing more. Keep that assumption in mind, because you're about to find out it's far worse than that. Here's where it gets interesting. It's not just irritation. The gas drifts upward and lands directly on the surface of your eyeball. Once it touches the thin layer of moisture covering your eye, it reacts instantly, forming a diluted sulfuric acid, right there on contact. That's not a metaphor. That's an actual, literal acid, forming in real time on the most sensitive tissue on your entire body. Free nerve endings on your cornea detect it immediately. They fire a signal down what's called the ciliary nerve, straight to your brain. Your brain interprets that signal as one thing: burning. And it responds the only way it knows how. It floods your eyes with tears, specifically to wash the irritant away as fast as possible. This whole process, from the moment the gas touches your eye to the moment tears start falling, happens in a matter of seconds. No conscious thought involved anywhere in the sequence. That stinging feeling you've felt 100 times cutting onions, that's not really about sadness or smell or anything sentimental at all. That's your own nervous system running an emergency chemical defense protocol in under a second without asking your permission. But here's the part that should genuinely surprise you. This entire system was never built with you in mind at all. Onions didn't evolve this defense to annoy home cooks. They evolved it millions of years ago to fight off something much smaller. Insects, rodents, anything trying to eat the bulb underground before it could grow. A cloud of eye-irritating gas is a remarkably effective way to make a hungry creature back off immediately. You just happen to have eyes too, and this defense system doesn't know the difference between a vole and a human being making dinner. Quick thing before we keep going. If you're enjoying learning this, subscribing genuinely helps a lot. Now here's the twist most people never learn. Garlic comes from the exact same plant family as onions. It also contains sulfur compounds. It also has active enzymes. So why doesn't slicing garlic make you cry the same way? The chemistry takes a different path entirely. Garlic's version of the reaction produces different sulfur compounds, ones that create that strong garlic smell, but never rearrange into syn-propanethyl S-oxide the way onions do. Same basic defense strategy, completely different weapon. Chemically speaking, garlic and onion are cousins that grew up learning entirely different fighting styles, even though they came from the exact same family tree. And it turns out, not every onion is equally dangerous either. Sweet onions and scallions contain far less of the enzyme responsible for the reaction. That's the real reason they barely make you tear up at all. Not because they contain less sulfur, but because they're missing the specific trigger that sets the whole chain reaction in motion. Scientists have even engineered an onion in a lab specifically designed to skip this reaction entirely, cutting off the enzyme responsible before it ever gets the chance to fire. A genuinely tear-free onion, built by deliberately breaking a defense system millions of years old. So the next time you're standing at the counter, eyes stinging, reaching for a paper towel halfway through slicing dinner, remember what's actually happening. You're not overreacting. You're not being dramatic. You're on the receiving end of a chemical weapon, built over millions of years, deployed by a vegetable that never even knew you existed. And for one brief moment, standing in your own kitchen, your eyes genuinely believe they're under attack. Because in the only way that matters to your nervous system, they are. The knife never touched you. The onion never touched you. And yet somehow, it still won.